Audio level's good. All right. Coach, like to respond to some comments made last night in Alabama?
Yes, I would. My dad always told me this. When people show you who they are, believe them. Right before he said that about us, wasn't he soliciting funds from the crowd? I ain't into that. I wasn't raised that way. You can call me anything you want to call me. You ain't calling me a cheat. I don't cheat and I don't lie. I don't mind competition. Kind of like it myself. Maybe somebody should have slapped him. Now you're fooling with our name. Oh, he's called.
You just didn't take the call?
Not going to. We're done.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in the show. Nothing but rants. A little show we call NBR around here, Nothing But Rants. The show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. We got a different looking show tonight, as I'm sure most of you can already notice, right? Most of you can already notice tonight. We got a little bit of a different show. For those of you who don't know, that fancy little studio of mine that I'm always in is actually just a couple of like hand-built, self-sustaining like prop walls. That's it. Well, behind the curtain here for you, okay? And it's actually built in my sweatshop of a garage. So during the summer, it is absolutely, and I mean absolutely unbearable during the summer. So if most of you who have been on this platform, you have seen us, especially last summer, really sweat it out for you, okay? Go through a couple shows where, I mean, we're pit staining the hell out of every shirt we can wear. It's primarily the reason why I wear a lot of black on shows, right? To not show all of the sweat. So what we're doing now is currently I got a couple of Patreon lifers in the garage right now, putting some AC in there. So we will no longer be going through 95-degree absolute sweat sessions to grind some tape, okay? We finally got some AC. It's going to be kicking in there. So hopefully there's more content. Hopefully it's a lot better for you. You won't see my fat ass sweating all over the camera. You won't see all that stuff, hopefully moving forward. But tonight, it means we're in here, right? We're a little bit different. Things will look a little bit different. So we will have AC soon. Your boy won't be grinding the tape in some straight up sweat. So that is the good news. And honestly, it's a testament to you guys. Tonight's show will be filled with the same takes and energy that you've come to love as we sit here in my living room, right? As we sit here with my little sons. Y'all remember these goals. Y'all can absolutely get the hands right now on this. My son gets it all the time. Do not think that I take it easy on him because I do not. But anyways, this is kind of how it all started, believe it or not. I know most of you guys, I don't know how you found me, don't know where you found me, don't know when you found me, right? But this is how it started. Honestly, if you search deep enough into my YouTube history, you will probably find some videos of me doing a little show called NFL Mocks, which was just a show where I literally turned a camera on in my living room and started talking, right? It wasn't always Brooks Austin, the guy that covers dogs daily for, 2 or 3 years. I was just a guy with a podcast, right? I still got family members that I run into all the time that will say something like, hey, how's the podcast going? And I'm just like, no, I don't really do podcasts anymore. We've moved on to other things. We've kind of moved on to different avenues in terms of what we're doing here. So this is a testament to you guys. Again, not to get all sentimental, but this is how it started. A microphone, a camera, a laptop in the living room, just doing what I love, man. Seriously, doing stuff that I love, which is from the bottom of my heart, thankful, very, very thankful for every single one of you guys, because it's gone from this, right? It's gone from this where we got, little 10 phone USB microphone plugins to a very self-serious studio that we've got built in the garage with all kinds of monitors and new technology. And we got producers and we got family members that reach out and try to help us with the platform. So it's a very good, not necessarily very good, but very proud moment for me because when I get to do things like this, it kind of brings it back, right? So forgive me on that. Again, not to get sentimental, but super thankful for all you guys and the growth of this platform. Excited for more to come, but also super thankful for Gramco, our premier sponsor. I messed it up. Bottom left-hand corner over there at thegramco.com. Super thankful for those guys. The one and only place to buy the premium Delta 8 and CBD products I took a break for you on the last couple of shows, Jeremiah Stoddard. Did you know that Gramco is veteran owned? Can you believe that? Gramco, veteran owned out here. I bet you didn't know that. Support this show, and damn right, support the troops by using promo code Brooks25 at checkout today to get 25% off. My boy Colby out there doing the AC unit right now, probably going to watch this a little bit later, was asking me today. He was like, you're off camera now. Do you really like Gramco's Delta 8 gummies? Because I'm about to get into the Delta 8. I said, my man, I'm on it. I'm not just playing with you. I'm on it. Delta 8 is how I calm down after this. You guys see me on these shows. I'm super wired up. I'm super tweaked, right? A lot of energy, a lot of juice, bringing it to you for an hour straight, right? Well, that takes a lot out of me. This is the way I kind of calm down. So if you're one of these guys that's high strung like me, or one of these gals that's very, very high strung like me, head over to the Gramco.com, promo code Brooks25. Again, get you 25% off on something that might bring you down to some normal levels. Again, man, I'm wired, strung out all the time. So sometimes it helps me, kind of come back down, if you will. I don't know if that's something that you're interested in, but that's how I use it. Feel free to use it how you want. If you got some joint pain, they got some CBD cream. I've used that as well. The former football player myself, got some joint pain, all that good stuff. So I've sold you enough on it. Go holler at it over there at thegramco.com, promo code Brooks25. We got a loaded show for you guys tonight. I'm going to lay out the pitch to Arch Manning. I'm super excited to lay this out for you guys. We're going to do a good old-fashioned pros and cons list. Nothing better, right? I mean, absolutely nothing better than a good old-fashioned pros and cons list. We're going to lay that out nice and solid for you and dump some inside intel on you just a little bit in there. Sprinkle it in and out. I'm going to also tell you about how leveraging yourself in any aspect of life, particularly recruiting, we're talking about the acclimation of talents and prospects. Leveraging yourself can be very, very dangerous, okay? Just like in the investment world, leveraging yourself in one, prospect or company could be dangerous. It could also be very, very fruitful depending on what type of stock you leverage yourself in. We'll talk a little bit about that. Also going to give you some random thoughts. I am a random guy, okay? I have random thoughts all of the time. Some of them are beneficial. Some of them are not. We had a good, banter going on in Discord this morning or this afternoon with some literature humor, okay? We are random thoughts every once in a while. I want to bring some random thoughts to you, and I hope you can relate to them, particularly you parents. I hope you parents can relate to some of my random thoughts that we're going to bring you. As I grow as a parent, I hope to share some of these things with you because you guys know I like to share a little bit piece of myself through this platform. Some new uniforms arrived in Athens. We're going to talk a little bit about that, of course. And I'm going to go ahead and prepare you for the one topic you are going to absolutely hate throughout this summer and this fall. Okay, come September, you're going to be absolutely flat fried of this one particular discussion. We're going to go ahead and knock it out of the way. And because I care about your sanity, I'm going to teach you, or rather consult you, on how to address said topic that I know you're going to get a tremendous amount of information about. All right, on to our first topic of the day, which is Arch. Let's start with Arch. Let's be all in on Arch, just like Georgia is in this class of 2023. It's an absolute massive recruiting weekend in Georgia this weekend. I don't know if you've been paying attention on dogsdaily.com. Don't know if you looked at the list we put out on patreon.com/Brooks Austin. Daggum, a month ago, it feels like. This officials month in June has been locked down for a fat minute, okay? They have been planning to go all out, particularly on this first weekend, for a fat minute. So, that being said, 12 officials scheduled this weekend alone through this 3rd and the 6th. I don't know who's randomly texting me, told me I look handsome today, but I appreciate you, brother. But get off my phone right now. You're distracting me. Anyways, got 12 official visits coming in this weekend. Super hot and heavy, right? Going to be a lot of really, really talented football players, most notably Arch Manning. And let's lay it out, right? Let's lay out the pitch to the heir apparent to the Manning legacy. We all know, I would assume this is the last one. I don't know. Who knows? A lot of gene pool going on there. Maybe a couple years from now, Arch got a little baby boy going on, throwing some missiles, something. I don't know. We don't know who the next Manning is, but this is the next one currently. So we're going to talk about him as the last in line currently, right? Let's talk about it, right? Let's lay it out. Again, I'm going to tell you, we're going to start with a standard pros and cons list, right? This is nice and easy. I think if we're being honest, Arch, if I'm talking to you right now, baby, I think it's 100% honest. We're only 2 teams, right? There's only 2 teams left as I sit here next to my child's, dunk machine. So little tykes. Anyways, only 2 teams, right? It's Georgia and Texas. It's very, very clear. So let's lay out the pros and cons for both programs. Start with Georgia. Okay, pros. Start with the pros of both programs. Georgia's recruited at a top 5 level for 6 years now. Under Kirby Smart, will continue to do so moving forward. All signs indicate towards that, despite the fact that there have been some changes in terms of what is capable for some programs via NIL on the recruiting trail. All signs point to Georgia still remaining at a top 5 recruiting level throughout. I mean, they can just recruit the state of Georgia alone, NIL be damned, and finish within the top 7 of recruiting rankings, right? So they have recruited at a top 5 level for a long time. They will continue to do so. That means there's a talent wealth around you. That is positive, right? They got a top 5 defense in the country perennially, right? Year in, year out. We know for a fact Kirby Smart, Glenn Schumann, Will Muschamp will have that defense tuned up, ready to rock, right? Offensive line recruiting has been on par with just about anybody throughout the country. Okay, we've laid out some concerns, some previous concerns on this platform before. We've laid out some body development issues in previous platforms before. But the fact of the matter remains, Georgia puts guys in the league, which means if the league is drafting Georgia offensive linemen, they got league-worthy offensive linemen, which means they got something that Texas don't have, right? They got something that Texas don't have that makes it a pro for them. Offensive line, we got to protect you, right? And I do believe as long as he's here, Todd Monken is a pro. He has to count, right? He's also going to count into the cons when we talk about it here in a little bit. But let's talk about a little pros from Texas. It starts solely and almost solely focused. If we really, really focused in on the one reason why Texas is even, in my opinion, in this discussion, is Steve Sarkisian, right? That's the biggest pro. I think the only reason, in my opinion, that Texas is in this is because Sark's a wizard. And anybody that watches football knows Sark's a wizard. Okay, so people who love football, particularly the Mannings, watch that offense and they're mind blown. They want to get a piece of it. They want to learn something about it. They want to understand the concepts, the spacing. They're wizards. They're people who are fascinated by football. So anyone that can teach them something about the sport, they seek that, right? They are seekers of knowledge about the sport and particularly the position of quarterback, which means Texas and Sark in particular are super pro. The NIL stuff, we'll talk about it in a little bit. It doesn't really apply to Arch in particular. We'll tell you why, but it does apply to the potential for acclamation of talent, right? Texas was a top 15, top 20 recruiting football program for the last 5, 6, 7 years. A lot of that has to do, in fact, with coaching turnover. We understand that. We can talk about that. We can address that. The fact of the matter remains, they went from 15th under the first year of Sark and the first class under Steve Sarkisian to, oh my God, NIL is created. Oh shit, state of Texas, Texas A&M vaults all the way up to 1, and Texas vaults all the way up to 5 after going 8-5. Okay, and or whatever they went, right? Not being a factor in college football, Texas suddenly is a top 5 recruiting program. Why? Well, because the state of Texas is very, very apropos to college football. Shocking. I know that would be absolutely stunning to a lot of people, but it will allow you to accumulate talent. Again, doesn't apply to Arch, but if you can leverage NIL for a lot of talent, you're going to be able to surround him with talent that otherwise you would not have been able to. So NIL is certainly a pro. You get a year of Xavier Worthy, who I think is probably like the current version of Jamison Williams in college football right now. He's going to go for a massive, massive amount of yards this year. I would imagine you get a year of it. You get 1, but that's it. And to be quite honest with you, at Texas, the barrier to entry in terms of playing time is relatively thin, right? Once Quinn Ewers leaves, you're gone. I mean, once Quinn Ewers leaves, you're right there. It's your job. No one's really going to argue with you. No one's going to battle you. It's really not going to be that big of a deal, right? So there's pros on both sides. Let's flip it over just like as you would on any content strategy board, on any decision-making strategy board. Let's talk about cons. We'll start with Georgia. I don't think there's a lot of them, right? I mean, they wouldn't recruit at the level that they would if they had a bunch of cons around their program in terms of negatives and imagery negatives, right? But I do think Todd Monken's potential to be at another program or at another environment or at another whatever, right, is, I'm not going to say high, not going to say it's higher than 50%, which means it's more than likely, but I'm going to say it's likely, right? There is a potential that Todd Monken is not at the University of Georgia by 2027, right? Whenever Arch Manning would be scheduled to graduate from college. But maybe he's a 3-year player, so maybe you don't care. And there's also the built-in fact that Buster Faulkner has been not necessarily the lead in this recruitment, but heavily, heavily involved. That's been by design because everyone knows Monken's a nomad. He is. He wears thin and he wears effective, okay? But he is a nomad. Look at the Wikipedia, okay? Look at the track record of that guy. He's 3, 4, and done. That's it. He ain't sticking around for 12 years at no place. Okay, maybe he's settled into that mode as a late addition as a coach, but it ain't been his MO. It ain't been his modus operandum his whole entire career. So not necessarily guarantee that he's going to stick around. So that has to be added to the con or the negative aspect of Georgia's recruitment. I guarantee you they are being negatively recruited at that specific point. Also, the roster is extremely deep at quarterback. You guys know this. Y'all are in my mentions constantly. Hell, we got a daggum topic coming up soon about Georgia's daggum quarterback depth, right? It's something that you're going to talk about for the remainder of history, which is why our next point, I do believe, and I'm going to tell you this because I love you and I care about you and your thought process, but being a quarterback at the University of Georgia comes with built-in controversy, no matter what. No matter what. People going to talk about you. People going to tweet about you. Dogs at Dogs968512 with 30 followers and nothing but replies on his tweets and no original tweets is going to be commenting on accounts like mine, Dog Nation, 24/7 Sports, that you are dog water. There are going to be Georgia fans that absolutely hate you no matter what. I guarantee you, if you search your social media feeds right now, there will be conversations about whether or not we even want Arch Manning from Georgia fans. Okay, so being a Georgia quarterback comes with controversy built in. I don't know if it's like that at other programs. I haven't covered a program like this in depth at other places. I don't think it's this crazy. I really don't, but it is at Georgia. So it has to be built into a con. People negative recruit. I guarantee you, they negatively recruit about this right here. They negatively recruit about the fact that your quarterback won a national title and was on Good Morning America the next morning talking about, I don't know, we'll see. In terms of his return. Not, I don't know, we'll see if I go to the NFL. I don't know if we'll see if I want to kind of, see the decisions that everyone else makes, right? That weighs into this decision, I would imagine, or at least on the surface, it seems to, okay? And the other thing, it's super deep at QB right now at Georgia, and they ain't stopping. They will not, okay? Kirby Smart will continue to recruit really, really highly talented quarterbacks. That's not going to stop if Arch Manning signs his name on the dotted line to the University of Georgia come mid-December. That's not going to happen. They will recruit the next best thing at the next position. That's the way they do it. Again, we will lay that out further in lines to come. Okay, so I do think there are cons on the Georgia side. There are negatives about this, but I think there's a lot of negatives at Texas too. And I think they're very, very obvious. First of all, Texas is in a little something I call purgatory right now. They are in Big 12 purgatory for however long. We don't know. Okay, he is going to wrap up his senior year with Texas playing a Big 12 schedule, and we don't know if they're going to be in the SEC, if they're going to buy out TV rights by the end of 23, or we don't know if it's going to happen in 24. We don't know if it's going to 25. We don't know when. We do not know when Texas will actually be implemented into the best conference in college football. So they are in purgatory. There's been no official announcement, though I firmly believe this will be fully merged by 2024. I think that's when the TV rights come up, and perhaps there's been some news on this. But this time last year, the SEC merger and the absorption of Texas and Oklahoma, that was the talk. Guys, if you remember, that news broke in July of last year. I will never forget. It was right around my son's birthday, July 29th. So this has been around. This has been confirmed for 11 months. We've had no progress in terms of when the actual ability to absorb Texas and Oklahoma into the SEC will actually happen. So until we know that, purgatory, right? Absolute purgatory in terms of what conference they're going to be playing in. And even if they are in the Big 12, I think we all agree that's an inferior product, and it will also directly impact their ability to sell the SEC image to recruits that they are already probably currently doing on the trail. In fact, I saw a BYU coach the other day that already had Big 12 patches on his damn shirt. So these coaches are selling it out on the trail, and they're probably selling it to Arch Manning. But in truth, and the reality is, Texas, you're in purgatory. You're sitting still until someone else tells you you're allowed to move. So you're going to hang out in that Big 12, and you're going to play against them crappy defenses, and NFL scouts are going to be like, I don't know if it translates, right? Every Big 12 quarterback ever gets that doubt. They will always get that doubt because they were not playing against NFL caliber defenses because they hang up 35 in that conference every single week. And the other thing is like, hey, it is realistic to say, Texas, where are you on the college football landscape? Seriously. Are you worthy of the number one quarterback in the country coming to play for an 8-5 football program? Or wherever you were last year, wherever you might be this year, okay? Are you national title ready, right? Are you a turnkey operation? We've talked about that on this channel. Can I show up, play at an Arch Manning number one quarterback caliber in the country, and us actually legitimately compete for a national title? Or are you a couple of, I hope so, good recruiting classes away from that actually happening? We don't know where Texas is. Texas isn't back. They haven't been back. They're not near back quite yet. So there is a legitimate question there of where actually is Texas? And are they ready to actually compete for national titles? I'd say no. I'd say there are a couple of classes, a couple of top 5 classes, and a couple of additions in terms of coaching staffs and continue to ravage the transfer portal, right, via NIL capabilities. Texas, right? Ooh, Texas, state of Texas. Okay, there are a couple of classes from that happening away from actually being a national title contender with talent on the roster, right? If you think you're a quarterback that can defy all of those things, I mean, more power to you. We'll see how that works with Caleb Williams and that offense out there. There's a piss poor roster surrounding the fancy portal additions USC made this year. We'll see. We'll see what that actual football team looks like come this fall. Same thing for Texas, in my opinion. We have to see. They have no proof of concept. Georgia has that, right? They have a proof of concept of winning. And the last thing for me, it's more of a question. It's not necessarily a fact. Are we sure Steve Sarkisian is a guarantee as a head coach? I've told you, I am a stone cold, like bona fide philosopher, absolute philosopher of the Steve Sarkisian methods. I will watch that guy for hours in terms of his offensive coordinating abilities. That being said, I have no idea if he is a national title winning contending coach. I don't know that. I don't know if he does the day-to-day CEO operations and builds the culture of a national championship winning coordinator or head coach. I don't know if he has a defense built together or if he can, acclimate talent in terms of if he can acquire talent in terms of coaching staffs around him. I don't know if his defense is caliber or worthy of winning a national title. I don't know if he can continue to recruit at a top 5 level. There's a lot of questions about what is going on out there, right? A whole lot of questions that seem like they're getting slapped and patched with NIL talent everywhere, right? That's just everywhere. It's just super glue all over the place in that Texas program, right? Everywhere. But not any guarantees, right? Not any guarantees, okay? So we went through the list, right? We went through all of it. But here's the deal. I think there's a couple X factors in this Arch Manning discussion, right? Absolutely 100% question marks in this Arch Manning discussion. I'm reading the chat. I am going to dunk on that before we leave. I might hit a little. X factors, okay? Hey, all you jokers, first of all, if you out here reading anybody, and I mean anybody, that says Arch Manning it might go to Texas because of NIL money, I'm going to tell you right now, you're stupid, okay? You're stupid, and you probably should stop paying attention to it, okay? Because let me tell you something. A few $1 million ain't making the man muscle of a Manning move at all. At all. Peyton freaking Manning, the uncle of this dude we're talking about right now, is talking about buying an NFL team. He is trying to leverage himself into becoming an NFL owner. You think $1.5 million a year matters a damn bit to the Mannings? What you think ESPN, like Cooper, like I know he's Cooper's son, right? Cooper's got TV deals left and right. Cooper's on commercials. They're all everywhere. Peyton's places, Eli's places, right? Monday Night Football, the Peyton broadcast. All, you think NIL money matters here? No, it does not. It could not be the furthest from topics of discussions with anybody talking to Arch Manning about playing at their potential program, right? So throw that out the way. If anybody's talking about that, just go on. They're just not your time, right? The other thing is you have to, and I mean have to, be willing and able to manage the Manning brand. Okay, this is the first family of football. This is no different than the daggum Prince of England transferring to a city school in Atlanta and going to play for the University of Georgia. It's going to come with the same damn media attention. Matter of fact, in the Southeast, it's going to come with more. Okay, there are going to be people, if Arch Manning goes to Georgia or if Arch Manning goes to Texas, there are going to be people that buy lake houses off covering the Mannings. I promise you. There are going to be people that retire or set nice retirement funds in my industry off of being able to cover a Manning, because you guys eat all that up. Y'all do. Every company, including mine, that covers the University of Georgia has covered Arch Manning and written more articles about Arch Manning than any other prospect you'll ever know about. I promise you that right now. There is a reason for that. That Manning name, it carries weight, which means as it's carrying weight throughout his college career, it's going to carry eyeballs with it. So if you are not prepared to manage this Manning family brand, you ain't cut. You can't do this. You are not cut out for this. In fact, I don't think if you have the city structure, you can handle out for this. I can't imagine. Like I remember going on visits with Robert Incomdici from Grayson, the number one player in the country back in high school. And his last name was Incomdici, not Manning. Okay. The dude couldn't even walk around campus as an 18-year-old in high school. Robert Incomdici, a defensive end. We were talking about Arch Manning, a quarterback, a Manning quarterback, right? That dude can't walk out his dorm room without just getting bombarded with all kinds of stuff. So I don't know if necessarily the city of Austin, I mean, Austin's huge, right? It might be conducive for that. I don't know. But the city of Athens, probably. Football is bread and buttered in the city of Athens. They've been handling superstars for a long, long time. I don't know if that's a negative or a positive on either side, but you have to be able and willing to absolutely handle this. Okay. You have to be able to handle the absolute shitstorm that's going to come with this. Okay. It's going to come with a lot more eyeballs. Okay. A lot more eyeballs. And you've signed up for that just by recruiting him. I honestly think that if you look at this and compare it to Peyton Manning's free agency after his spinal fusion, okay, after his spinal fusion when he left Indianapolis, if you were to compare this decision timetable to that of, hey, who do I sign with after I've already forced my way out of Indianapolis? Okay, if you guys remember that kind of decision for Peyton, it was very much so about, the situation around me, right? It's no different than what Tom Brady chose to do in terms of leaving New England and going to Tampa. It's very much so about going to play for an organization that is set up best to help you right now, right? Best to set you up to win now, while also setting you up for the future, right? Preparing you to win now, giving you the opportunity to succeed early, while also cultivating you as a football player and as a man to be successful in the long term. No different than what Peyton was looking for, right? He was looking for weapons as an offense. He was looking for structure that would allow him to have the freedom that he needed to have at that point in his stage in his career, right? The money had to be right. The offensive line had to be right. The coordinator had to be right. The ability to leverage whatever knowledge he had to be right. All those situations, the organization and the setting has to be absolutely perfect, right? And at Georgia, I think there is a tremendous amount of familiarity. There really is. Matt Luke's making up for what he did. Matt Luke's making up for suddenly retiring by absolutely still helping out here. I don't know what the rules are on this. I would assume he's an innocent bystander at this point. It's no different than Uncle Matt or Uncle Luke calling up. Uncle Luke's a bad reference because he's definitely been tying some NCAA allegations down there in Miami. But you get what I'm saying. It's no different than Uncle Matt calling up and just being a family member, right? Because that's what the relationship had become between the Lukes and particularly Cooper, because Cooper is an Ole Miss grad, believe it or not. It was Ole Miss for Cooper and Eli. Cooper went as a normal student. Eli obviously played. Peyton went to Tennessee, and obviously Archie, the grandfather, great-grandfather, or grandfather of Arch, went to Ole Miss as well. Peyton, the only one to go to Tennessee, to not go to Ole Miss. Nonetheless, they totally lost my train of thought there. Got a tremendous amount of familiarity. The relationships with Luke have been completely forged all the way dating back to Ole Miss, right? There's also random relationship between Peyton and Kirby. I don't think it was random. I just think this two really, really smart football minds that have forged a relationship. Watch anything that Peyton's ever done. Watch anything. I guarantee you, if you watch close enough, you'll find a Kirby Smart joke. He don't joke about Lane Kiffin. He don't joke about Nick Saban that often. He really doesn't. He's had him on his shows, but they don't joke. They don't have a friendly, cordial environment, right? There's no jokes about Steve Sarkisian. But being seen in red wouldn't do it because Kirby would give me hell on the Brady versus Manning golf broadcast, right? Jokes like that. Jokes like, I'll never forget you yelling at Kirby Smart on the sideline of the Miami Dolphins game in 2005 when I'm torching you, right? The jokes at Kirby's expense make me believe that there is actually a legitimate, true friendship there. There is actually a relationship there. There's some familiarity with Georgia and the Manning family, believe it or not. I think that's very, very clear to see just reading the tea leaves, right? There's also, like we talked about earlier, a proof of concept for Georgia. You've proven that you can win. We talked about that earlier. You have to be ready. You have to be a turnkey operation in this recruitment. You've got to be ready to roll. You've absolutely got to be ready to roll. And I do believe at Georgia, like we talked about earlier, there's a conducive environment to handle this wave that comes with recruiting a Manning and signing a Manning and having a Manning on your roster, whether it be at quarterback or whatever. But Georgia fans, understand something and understand this about this all-in approach about Arch Manning, okay? Understand this. You let in-state talent like Dylan Lonergan walk. Dylan's really, really talented. I don't know if he's going to end up being a professional baseball player. I don't know. It would have been risky to recruit Dylan as well because you don't know what the ultimate, future, or the immediate future rather, of him looks like. The ultimate future of him looks like a professional athlete in some sorts. 96 off the mound, super, super talented, top 5, 6 type quarterback in the country, in my opinion. At the quarterback position in 23, right down the road, Loganville, Georgia, right there, Brookwood High School. Right down the road. Didn't really have an opportunity to show him a whole bunch of serious love because you were all in on Arch, right? There's also a absolute crap ton, and I mean crap ton, of guys in this 2023 class that I believe could be dudes, like faces of your program, absolute Heisman-type football players at the quarterback position. There's almost a dozen guys that I would sign off on, hey, I'd recruit that guy. I would let that guy be the face of the University of Georgia. I think that dude's immensely, immensely talented. He might be the best one of all of these guys. There's a clutter of 6 names that I'm about to read off to you that I think could be the best player in this class, hands down overall. I think it's a crapshoot on all of them. It's why it's so risky that you chose this one, because this one and going all in on this one cost you a whole bunch of them. Okay, it cost you an opportunity. I don't think Malachi Nelson was going anywhere other than USC the day Lincoln Riley went there. So that one's done. Throw it out. But Dante Moore, think you could have went heavy after that one if you liked it. Nico Lama-Lavea, I know this time last year, that was a serious, serious talk. That dude came down to Georgia and loved it. Loved it. Absolutely had a blast. So there's that. Chase Vizina, right there from the state of Alabama. That was a dude that absolutely loved Georgia as well. Jalen Rashada, probably not. I don't know. Just a Cali kid, didn't hear much about, right? But a superstar, an absolute stud. Maybe had you pursued it, you might have had a chance, right? Marcel Reed just committed to Ole Miss, kid from Tennessee. I think is a dude. an absolute dude, and kind of wired the right way, right? Wired the right way in a sense that in a room like Georgia would have been able to handle all this, right? So all of this stuff, all these guys in 2023 alone, I think are real special talents, okay? And they could be transcendent. And y'all, Georgia chose this one, so they better be right on that one, right? But also, I think this all-in approach on Arch probably cost you Dylan Raiola in 2024. I think if you notice, there was one predominant, like always in the running for great quarterback play school that was never interested in Arch Manning. Never. And maybe it's because they're a northern school and they wouldn't have had a shot anyways, but they never even sniffed it. And that was Ohio State. Ohio State never got close to it. And guess who? Guess who is landing Dylan Raiola, who I think is better than all of them, personally, just me, who I think is better than all of them? Ohio State, because they weren't even playing around. In fact, I don't know who they're taking in 2023. They might just punt on the whole class. I swear. They might just punt on the whole class. I don't know who they took. I don't know who they're going to take. I know in 2024, they got their guy, and they got the guy. Dylan Raiola is a transcendent eval on tape. Arch Manning is not quite that in terms of on-tape eval, right? And the loss of a 2024 recruit, Kirby Smart will tell you today, right now, doesn't matter. Right? He doesn't care. Kirby Smart will be the very first person to tell you that he recruits this current class. He recruits the best player available right now. Who can I get to impact my roster right now, right? He doesn't care about anything else at all right now, right? But he better be right. He better hit, okay? He better be right and land him, first of all. Better be right and land him because you leveraged a lot elsewhere to fully commit to pursuing Arch Manning down to the wire whenever it happens, right? So you better be right there. And you better hope he pans out as a player if and when he gets to Athens, because I'll be honest with you. I've spoken to a lot of people because I can't get close to the Manning stuff. I can't. Like, dude, I'm a guy that has 21,000 followers on Twitter and just speaks into a microphone in his living room next to his kid's little tight dunk set, okay? I am not ever getting close to a Manning, ever. Not going to get any intel. However, I talked to a bunch of coaches, a bunch of them, a bunch of guys that I trust with a heavy eval hand, right? They know what great football players look like. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in the positions that they are. And every coach I talk to about Arch Manning tells me the same thing, especially the ones that have gotten him on the board on a visit. I can't tell you how much they rave about the intangibles, things you can't see, things I can't show you on film, things I can't say, hey, look, this is why he's great. Malachi Nelson can do everything on a football field. Anything you ask him can make any throw. I can watch that dude on tape and tell you he's the number one quarterback in America. I can watch him on tape. I can't do that with Arch Manning. I watch Arch Manning on tape and I see a bunch of A-minuses. I see an A- athlete. I see an A- arm. I see A- mobility. I see A- decision making. I see an A-. It's all A-. It's a 91 grade across the board, which is a really great football player. But there are some dudes in this class that are tapped out 99 attributes in some specific categories. And I don't think he's got any of those except for the intangibles. And if you're betting on intangibles, man, you better be right. You better be right if you're betting on the stuff that I can't quantify. If I can't lay it out and say this is why, then that's a gamble. That's what it is. It is a gamble that those intangibles translate. So you better be right. Better be right, because you have leveraged an awful lot. You've leveraged an awful lot in the class of 2023 and 2024 on landing Arch Manning, and leveraged a lot on the fact that he is who you thought he is, right? He is who you think he is now. And that is what recruiting is, ladies and gentlemen. That is only there's only given to those who recruit at this level, right? That type of pressure, that type of pending doom in terms of negative criticism, because my God, just imagine if it goes haywire, if it's transfer out after 18 months and he goes off somewhere else, wins a Heisman or whatever, you're going to lose your damn mind. And everyone's going to go crazy, okay? And he brought that on himself. They brought that on themselves if they land him. And that's what Kirby talked about a couple of days ago on Paul Feinbaum. He brings this on himself. The quarterback controversy is what you have to have. If you don't have a good enough room where people are arguing about whether or not you're starting the right guy, you don't have a good enough room. So that's what he's doing. He's recruiting the room to make sure that you are sitting at home going, I don't know, the other guy might be just as good or better, right? That means you got a good quarterback room. Man, we spent 40 minutes on Arch Manning. I hope that was as entertaining as it felt. It rattled right off. I think we spent 5 minutes talking about, how we started in the living room and now we're back in the living room. But let's talk about some more stuff. We got half the show notes left to rattle off here. Appreciate you guys for being here. We're rattling up some numbers here. Hit that thumbs up button. Let's shoot us up the rankings. Let's get up on this YouTube page. Let's find as many people as we possibly can. And while you're here, head over to patreon.com/Brooks Austin and sign up for Patreon today. Okay. I think in the last couple of days, let me just tease some things for you. I don't think I do a good enough job of doing this on our public platforms, right? I don't think despite me asking all of my actual subs that are watching right now to tell you guys how awesome it is, I don't think I do a good enough job discussing it. So we talked about Raylan Wilson on Patreon this morning. We gave you an update on the first day of June camps yesterday, a bunch of absolutely blazing 40 times. We hit you up with the wide receiver big board yesterday, as of course you know that. And we gave you some intel on the big board and some report week information as well. So head over there, man. It's a great place to be, particularly as we head into the summer, where news is kind of dry, right? News is thin unless you're hitting up those inside sources and that good private intel over there on patreon.com/Brooks Austin. Appreciate you guys for showing love, man. Let me tell you something about that Kirby Smart guy, man. Every time I think, hey, man, does he get it? Does he really get it? Every time I think, man, he does it again, right? He does it again. Let me ask you something right now. As a Georgia fan, have you ever heard, and I know you have, but have you ever heard Kirby Smart say these words? And I quote, keep the main thing, right? Keep the main thing, the main thing. And 9 times out of 10, that saying is in direct response of some question about black jerseys or some question about, uniform changes or whatever, right? Whatever. Keep the main thing, the main thing. And I'm here to tell you during the season, the main thing is winning football games, and whatever jerseys you wear ain't got shit to do with it. Or at least Kirby Smart would tell you that, right? Wearing white helmets ain't got nothing to do with whether or not you're going to win football games. Kirby Smart will tell you that right now. Keep the main thing during the season. But during the summer, the main thing is recruiting. The main thing is recruiting. And I'll be damned if you're going to sit here and tell me that fire, absolute fuego, white helmets and white crispy ass unis don't do something for you on the recruiting trail. You can't tell me there ain't a 4 or a 5-star in some class somewhere watching social media, seeing photos of Antoine Jackson in a brand new white helmet and going, damn, I got to go get some photos in that. That looks fire, right? So the guy gets it. The guy absolutely gets it. He understands that the main thing is the main thing during the season. And during the season, whether or not we're wearing white, black, purple, or orange, it don't mean a hill of beans. We got to keep the main thing, right? And during the offseason, 16, 17-year-old kids love new unis. It's straight facts. So I see some negative comments about the uniforms in the comments. I see some positive ones, right? I see some, they're trash. I see some, they're fire. I see some stormtrooper head ass. I see some, they're gas head ass, right? I see both. And the fact of the matter is you have an opinion, which is what it's all about, baby. Whether or not you have an opinion, that's all that matters, man. So last summer, it was the all reds, right? Last summer, it was the all reds. This summer, it's the all white. And personally, I think it's in fuego. I think it's absolute gas. Leave your comment about what you think about the new uniforms here in the description below. Let's holler at this last couple segments. We got random thoughts with Brooks, and this will be quick, man. This will be quick. And I told you, I do want to, as my son grows, as my kids now, because we got the second one coming here soon within a month. Supposed to be within a month, probably be here within 2 weeks, I would imagine. But as my children grow, I kind of want to share some thoughts, some random thoughts with you about, what I have found through parenting. I don't know where you are in your life as you're watching this, but whether or not you have kids or maybe one day have kids, my platform, I'm going to share a little piece of me with you guys. So, man, I don't know if any of you jokers been on a swing lately, but let me tell you something. The word euphoric doesn't even touch what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, that weightlessness at the top of the right, my belly drop, my big old belly floating, and the stomach dropping on the come on, man. If you have not been on a swing as an adult to where you can truly understand the feeling in which you are having, you need to go out right now. Maybe not right now, because being on a swing set late at night, probably not a good move. But next time, if you got some young children, okay, maybe a niece, a nephew, whatever, go. I'm telling you, absolutely tear up a swing set. I'm as hard as you can. Absolutely send it, full send. Now, I promise, as a member of this YouTube channel and as a member of the Georgia media space, and as someone who hopes to be in your life for quite some time, whether it be here or in another venture or whatever it is, I promise you right now, I will live every joy and every euphoric moment from our childhood through my kid. I will absolutely 100% live it up. So that undoubtedly means that eventually I will hurt myself. Okay. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Okay. So when I fully send my 260-pound self off that swing and I'm, flying through the air and I land and I pop an Achilles, it's okay. It's all good because I got to live a little bit of my childhood through my son. Yeah, man, swings. Go fuck up a swing sometime soon. I promise you right now, you will not regret it. All right. I told you to start the show. It's not a Delta 8. It was not a Delta 8 swing, but it should have been. I'm gonna tell you right now, could have been even more. Could have been way more euphoric, right? If I'd have been on them Gramco gums, I'm telling you, a little fruit punch. Okay, maybe take two. I don't know, feeling frisky, right? I'm telling you right now, gramco.com/Brooks Austin, full send, absolute full send on the Gramco gummies, and go get on a swing today. I'm telling you, I'm so pro swing. Make swings great again. Here we go. On to our final segment of the day. I don't know. I've been doing this. Something about sitting in I feel very, I don't know. You guys don't watch Dan Le Batard as much as I do. I feel very Stugatti. I feel like I'm shoving my fat sausage fingers up in the camera. Something about being on this setting makes me want to move with my hands a lot. Normally, when I'm in the garage, you see me, I'm grabbing the microphone and I'm moving it all over the place. Again, Gramco, they need to chill me out, man. Way too wired. I didn't even drink any coffee before tonight's show. That's the crazy part. I told you to start today that we were going to talk about a segment that I guarantee you come September, you're going to be exhausted with. You're going to hate it. You're going to be absolutely despondent when someone brings up this very topic, which is Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett is absolutely going to make you pull your hair out this summer if you're a reasonable Georgia fan. Dear @reasonable Georgia fan on Twitter, okay? Understand something. If you have a lick of knowledge about anything when it comes to being a sane person, okay, you're going to lose your ever-loving mind this summer with some idiot telling you that Stetson Bennett is not good enough to be the starting quarterback at the University of Georgia. You're going to get it, okay? And you're going to be exhausted, and you're going to be tired, and you're going to want to pull your hair out, and you're going to hate everybody that ever says anything negative about Stetson Bennett. So let me do you a favor. Let me do you a favor and save your sanity here, okay? Let me tell you exactly how to feel about this situation. I'm going to tell you a bunch of words, okay? I'm going to tell you a bunch of things, and then I'm going to tell you exactly how you can solve whatever idiocracy you got going on in your life, okay? It's going to be nice and easy. So let me tell you what I can tell you up front. He's a tremendous, tremendous football player, okay? Emphasis on the football player. Most of what number 13 does on Saturdays cannot be quantified. It can't. I can give you completion percentages. I can give you efficiency. I can give you all the nerdy stuff. I can do it. As a matter of fact, everyone's already done it. They've shown you he's on par with everybody you say he's not as good as, right? He's on par statistically with all of them. Any advanced stat you want, yards per completion, freaking air yards, all that nonsense, all that nerdy shit. And you still got people hating on him, right? So what does that boil down to? It boils down that I cannot quantify to an average person why this guy is a great football player, but he's a great football player, And it's funny to me because all the former Georgia quarterbacks, particularly Aaron Murray, who statistically is the best ever, I would imagine. Eric Zaire had his little run in the 90s when they were the only program really air raiding it out and chunking it and dumping it. But nonetheless, Aaron Murray's got a lot of records at the University of Georgia. And if you asked Aaron Murray right now today, who's the best quarterback to ever play at the University of Georgia, he will tell you Stetson Bennett. And he is not lying on that. He truly 100% adamantly believes that. And in fact, all the current and former players are all on the Stetson Bennett bandwagon. Anybody that's ever played football knows this dude can ball. This dude's a great football player. And anybody that's, knows a lick about football and can actually dissect film properly can really look at what they're supposed to be looking at and be able to be outside the room and still understand what his thought process is as that young man decides to go through the decisions in which he does, right? And why he's doing what he does. If you can legitimately sit down and grade film, you understand that Stetson Bennett played really, really well last year. And he's a really, really good football player. But he's 5'9", right? He's 5'9". So he must suck because he's 5'9". Let me tell you something. Stetson Bennett cleans up the left guard when the left guard gets absolutely destroyed by Jervon Dexter. Stetson Bennett cleans up the freshman wide receiver when he busts his route for the third time that week, right? And all of a sudden, the wide receiver's not where he's supposed to be. So instead of throwing an incomplete pass on 3rd and 4, he scrambles for a first down, right? He makes the other 10 guys in the huddle better, okay? He does. And I can't quantify this through a stat sheet. If I could, you wouldn't argue with me. You wouldn't, okay? He earned the respect of the program. He won a national title. He's earned the respect of every football player that's pretty much walked in that building. So here's the truth. Okay, here's the absolute truth, Georgia fan, that's going to have to worry about this discussion all summer. That's going to have to listen to national pundits tell you that your quarterback is just some game manager or whatever yahoo term they want to use about a guy that's 5'9" and they can't quantify the greatness of, right, or the goodness of, because I do think he's a really, really good college quarterback. Okay, here's the truth. Stetson Bennett is a starting quarterback at the University of Georgia until he has multiple absolutely piss down your leg football games. I'm talking about multiple interceptions, 2 a game, and has like real bad stretches. Until that happens, Stetson Bennett is the starting quarterback of your football team. So you know what fans should probably do? They should probably support him, right? Just get behind him, say, this is our guy. Don't worry about the 4 or the 5-star that's right behind him. Don't worry about none of that. Worry about the guy that you got right now, okay? And support him. That's what normal fan bases do. That's what sane fan bases do, because if your head coach is telling you that he's the best quarterback, if your offensive coordinator is telling you that he's the best quarterback, if your quarterback coach is telling you he's the best quarterback, if your football team is telling you the best quarterback, if every football smart guy in the world that's actually watching it, that's ever been a part of that program or covered that program is telling you he's a good quarterback, he's probably a good quarterback. Probably a good quarterback, right? You know, so that's a lot of words that you should do. That's right. This is me telling you why you should do those things or what you should do. But those are just words. There's just 100%. Now, there's 100% truths in all of those words. All of those words, in my opinion, are quantifiable. I can show you them. I 100% can. As a matter of fact, I intend to. So here's what I'm going to suggest. If you're one of these people that are watching this right now, and I see we got some comments in here in the sections. If you're one of these people that cannot quantify why Stetson Bennett's your starting quarterback, if you're one of these people that doesn't think Stetson's got the goods, dude, if you're one of these dudes that doesn't think, or that thinks that the other guys are better and more suited to be your starting quarterback currently, then please, for the love of God, visit me on patreon.com/Brooks Austin, because I think I'm going to make it a point this summer to show you all the dude qualities that your so-called non-dude quarterback has. Okay, what's a dude in nowadays in the quarterback position? 6'4", 4'5", 40, can sling it a country mile. That ain't what Stetson Bennett is. But by God, he's a dude. So if you want to find out why he's a dude, come holler at me. Patreon.com/Brooks Austin. And we'll figure it out. Okay. Matter of fact, I figured it out. We'll show it to you. Okay. I'll show you the ball that looks like it's thrown on the wrong shoulder from Brock Bowers against Michigan, the third play of the game, when Bowers runs up the sideline and has to pirouette, okay, and catch a ball. And you're like, damn, Stetson can't even hit that guy. What a bad ball. Okay, well, come watch the all 22 with your boy, because the right tackle is getting beat like a steel drum, and Stetson Bennett has to wait until the very damn last second and throws it before the wide receiver is even out of his break, throws it early and gets absolutely pummeled the third play of the game. Gets his butt right up, runs down the field, gets back into a no huddle, and throws a screen to Brock Bowers for another 9 yards and picks up another almost first down. That stuff doesn't show up in 63% completion percentage or whatever the hell it is. That kind of stuff doesn't show up in the box score. But you know who does care about it? The decision makers of your football team. That's all that matters. So if you want to see it, if you want me to prove it to you, come on. Head over to patreon.com/Brooks Austin. That's our show for tonight. Again, man, I know it looked different, probably sounded different. This is a little bit different quality of a microphone than we usually use. But man, this brings back memories. Again, it brings back memories of where we all started. We started in a little apartment complex in Kennesaw, Georgia, covering freaking NFL draft stuff for a little company called NFL Mocks that you guys probably never have ever heard of. I had 350 followers on Twitter when I first started what it is that I do now, which is be really, really passionate about football for some random reason. Okay. And wherever they plant me next, wherever the career arc takes me next, I'll probably be doing the same shit. It might look fancier. It might look nicer. Maybe one day we sell out and we go up into a brand new TV studio. Maybe someday it happens. I don't know. But I promise you one thing. As long as I'm doing this, I'm going to have a damn good time doing it. I'm going to be super energetic. I don't care if I'm, again, in this little living room. Matter of fact, we'll see y'all next week.